What is up, ladies and gentlemen? And today we have got some 5D chess, art of the deal type stuff to break down. This is a really interesting dynamic playing out because, on the surface, it looks like there might be a deal between Trump and the Rhino establishment to sacrifice an America First patriot in a hotly contested Senate runoff. In exchange, we could see the SAB Act move forward by Senate Majority Leader John Thune and the establishment. Let me show you what I mean. There is a heated Senate runoff in Texas between John Cornyn, the incumbent, backed by the Rhino, anti-Trump, anti-border wall, anti-American establishment, and Paxton, the America First patriot. Cornyn has tens of millions of dollars behind him from the party establishment, and they want him to secure the Republican nomination. The establishment seems to be pushing for Trump to endorse Cornyn, and reports suggest he might be leaning that way, based on recent interviews with Politico and other outlets. They also want Paxton to drop out, consolidating support and avoiding a messy primary. Trump has said he will make his endorsement soon and has indicated that the candidate not endorsed should step aside. If he backs Cornyn, that would mean asking Paxton to step down to save resources for the general election. But Paxton has made it clear he is not going to drop out under any circumstances, keeping the race intense and the stakes high. This is what President Trump said on his Truth Social. The Republican primary race for the United States Senate in the great state of Texas, a state I love, and won 3 times with record numbers, the highest vote totals ever recorded by far, cannot, for the good of the party and our country itself, be allowed to go on any longer. It must stop now. We have an easy-to-beat radical left opponent, and we need to totally focus on defeating him quickly and decisively. Both John and Ken ran great races, but not good enough. Now this one must be perfect. My endorsements within the Republican Party have been virtually insurmountable. It is an honor to say that almost everyone I endorse wins, and wins by a lot, especially in Texas. I will be making my endorsement soon, and I will be asking the candidate that I do not endorse to immediately drop out of the race. Is that fair? We must win in November. Thank you for your attention to this matter. But here is where things get interesting. When Ken Paxton appeared on Real America's Voice, he made it very clear he is not dropping out of this race.
What do you make of that? What message does that send? And what message do you want to send to the Republican base? President Trump said he's going to make an endorsement. Whoever he does endorse should drop out. I have a funny feeling you don't drop out under any circumstance.
No, I'm staying in this race. I owe it to the people of Texas. I've spent a year of my life campaigning against John Cornyn because John has not represented the people of Texas well. He's sided with Joe Biden on Second Amendment restrictions. He's sided with Joe Biden on bringing Afghan refugees to settle here without vetting them. But he's been against Trump in both of his elections, said he shouldn't run last time, that his day had passed. And, of course, he fought him on the border wall. He's been an amnesty guy. Everything that Trump stood for, John Cornyn's fought. But he was a big help to Joe Biden. The people of Texas, at least the Republicans, would like something different.
So there you have it. And according to Ken Paxton, his criticism of John Cornyn centers on several issues. Paxton argues that Cornyn opposed the border wall, supported policies he believes amount to amnesty for undocumented immigrants in Texas, and suggested Republicans should move on from Donald Trump after the 2020 election. From Paxton's perspective, Cornyn represents the establishment wing of the party. That was Paxton's initial position. But since then, the situation has started to shift, and we will get into that in just a moment. After Paxton made those remarks during his interview with John Solomon, there was also a response from Trump. In a brief phone conversation with Politico on Thursday morning, Trump said that an endorsement in the Texas Senate race would be coming soon. He also addressed Paxton's statement about not dropping out even if Trump endorses John Cornyn. According to Trump, well, that is bad for him to say. That is bad for him. So maybe that leads me to go the other direction. So before we go any further, let me lay out the broader context of what is happening here and where this situation might be heading. For those who may not be following this closely, this Texas Senate race is important because Texas is a major state politically, and whoever wins the Republican primary will likely have a strong advantage in the general election. That is why endorsements and party unity are becoming such a big discussion right now. One question a lot of people are asking is why Donald Trump might consider supporting John Cornyn. especially when critics argue that Cornyn has not always aligned with the priorities of many conservative voters in Texas. Some point to policy disagreements, including Cornyn has past positions related to border security, immigration discussions, and bipartisan negotiations in Washington. Supporters of Ken Paxton argue that these positions show Cornyn represents a more traditional establishment approach, while they see Paxton as representing a different direction for the party. Because of those differences, the possibility of a Trump endorsement has become a major talking point in the race, and is one of the reasons this primary has attracted so much attention. For those who may not be following this closely, this Texas Senate race is important, because Texas is a major state politically, and whoever wins the Republican primary will likely have a strong advantage in the general election. That is why endorsements and party unity are becoming such a big discussion right now. One possible reason Trump wants the race to end quickly is to avoid Republicans spending millions fighting each other in a primary. Campaign money and energy could instead go toward the general election. But I am curious what you guys think. Should the candidate who does not get Trump's endorsement step aside, or should the voters decide in the primary? Let me know in the comments. This race also highlights the divide within the Republican Party between the establishment wing and the America First movement. That tension has been showing up in several primaries around the country. So right now the big question is simple. Who will Donald Trump actually endorse in this race? Will it be John Cornyn, the longtime senator backed by much of the party establishment, or will it be Ken Paxton, who has been positioning himself as the America First candidate in this primary? And if Trump does make that endorsement soon like he said, the next big question becomes, will the other candidate actually step aside, or will the race continue anyway? This situation really highlights the larger debate happening inside the Republican Party right now between the more traditional establishment wing and the America First movement. And we are seeing that tension play out not just in Texas, but in several primaries across the country. But I want to hear from you. What do you think should happen in this race? Should the candidate who does not receive Trump's endorsement step aside, or should voters decide in the primary? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and reaction, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss future reactions and news updates here on the channel. We are going to continue covering stories like this and breaking them down with some common sense. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.